you for tuning into TTV. I'm your host, Toya, and today is Expression Thursday, where I just basically go over different ways in which you can express yourself and just different ways in other people express themselves. Whatever comes to me to do for the week, that's what I do. So do your girl a favor, please like, subscribe, and share. Like because it's a video. I give you good information. Subscribe because that helps me out and keeps me going to keep producing these videos for you guys. And then share because if you get something out of it, chances are someone else will as well. So please hit the like, subscribe, and share, and let's get into it. So as you can see from the title, everybody needs help sometimes. So we all just went through this pandemic, and a friend of mine told me, she said, you do realize that what we just survived was a plague, because when they go back into history and write it out, that's what they're going to mention it, or that's how they're going to state it, is that it was a plague that went around and we survived it. We made do. But in the process of going through that, there was a huge shift in the way people communicate with each other, and it forced people to take a better look at themselves and where they want to go. So it's a lot of people out here who are now trying to better themselves, to get on the path that they're supposed to, find their purpose, just find the ways in which they can help themselves, okay? So it's a lot of self-help going on right now, and that leads right into your mental health feelings and benefits and things like that. So during this pandemic, we're spending a lot of time alone because we were locked down, shut down in our house with nobody but whoever it is that we live with and ourselves. Unless you were one of those who were essential worker and you were able to go out into the world and actually communicate and interact with other people. And even then it was at some kind of distance. So all of that turned the light on with dealing with yourself and who you are, as well as the people that you live with. Now, on some cases, some people realized that they didn't like the people they live with and they ended up getting divorces. But we're not talking about that part because we're going to keep this positive. But I did want to mention that because it did happen. But on the flip side, though, you have people who found out that, I have these issues. I have all these flaws. I have these things that I need to work with. I have these tragedies or this PTSD that comes up and from trauma that I never really paid attention to or healed or worked through. And so now you need help. We find out what our flaws are. We find out those things that, break us down. Those things that we don't want to talk about to nobody. Those things that we want to put in a box, put the top on it, lock it in the closet, on the top shelf, in the back, cover it up with a whole bunch of things, close the door, lock it, get out the room, lock that door, and never think about it again. But the problem is it's still there, and it's always going to be in that background, still saying, hey, I know you hear me. I'm still here. Hello. Did you forget about me? Listen, I know you hear me. That's basically what it's doing when we try to ignore it or push it to the side. So until you actually face it, until you actually deal with it, until you actually bring it to the forefront and say, okay, look, let you and me, we about to have us a conversation. We need to work through this. We need to figure this out. And sometimes in order to do that, you need help. And there's nothing wrong with needing help. Now, by help, I mean you may need to find somebody you can talk to, whether it's your best friend, uncle, cousin, the Ray down the street, whoever it is. Find somebody that you can talk to. And if it's really something serious, it's really an event that you really try to forget about and block, that is now having complications in your life, or now causing problems or causing issues, or, coming up in your day-to-day life, and you're having a hard time or struggling to cope with it and to deal with it, then you need to get some professional help. And there's nothing wrong with it. I have some issues that I dealt with that from childhood and even beyond, okay? So I have these issues that I always try to tuck up under the carpet and just forget about it and put it in that box. Like I said, I put it in the box with the top, in the closet, on top shelf, in the back, a bunch of stuff up front of it, lock the closet, come out the room, lock the door, and walk away. That's what I did. But now I see it manifest, and now I see it coming up in a lot of the things that I do in a day-to-day situation. And I'm sitting there wondering, why am I doing this? Why can't I do this? Why do I do that? And it all goes back to those things that I've never faced and that I never, took the time to really work through and break down. And so now I have to go back and do that work and put that effort in so that I can accomplish what I need to accomplish during my time here for the remainder of the time that I have here. Okay? So just like I do these videos for you guys, the reason is because that's part of my path. That's part of what I'm supposed to do. So, and how long I'm supposed to do it, I don't know. But until the powers that be tell me to stop, this is what I'm doing. So in order for me to continue down my path and even help you with your lessons, because it's hard for somebody to tell you to do something if they've never done it. Okay, so I'm here to tell you I've done it. I'm in therapy right now because there are situations and things that I've experienced through my life that I'm struggling to get past. I'm struggling to move. There are some things that I've experienced to where even mentioning it or starting to talk about it will actually make me start breaking down and crying. Okay, and I want to get past that. I want to get beyond that. I want to get to where even if those events, because that's what they are, they're just events that happen. So even if those events come back and come up and present themselves to me, I can look at them and say, okay, listen here, friend. Now, I know we went through this. I know this is something that happened, but this is what I learned from it. Now, I'm going to set you down in this chair, in this corner. You're going to sit there and you're going to leave me alone so I can get this stuff done, okay? Or whatever it ends up being that I end up having to do. But regardless of it, I saw an area in my life that I wasn't able to improve. I wasn't able to get beyond on my own. And so I sought help. So I went and I got me a therapist that I go to. And so I'm working with her so that I can get past this and move past it so that I can, again, be the best version of myself. And sometimes you have to ask for help. And guess what? It's okay. It's okay. You know? And some people think that it's just because I have a degree in developmental psychology, okay? Developmental psychology. So I know some of the things to do and all of that. But even in that field, knowing that these are issues that I'm having, I also know that techniques have changed. I also know that what I have... Ooh, excuse me, y'all. Okay, sometimes you gotta let it go. What Shrek say? Better up and out than in. But anyway... So sometimes, I've realized that there are techniques and things that I don't know. So everything that I have already tried, and it's not working. So now I know I need some help. I need somebody else to guide me through this so that I can become the best version of myself and have nothing that holds me back. And that's the whole point of it. So to become the best version of yourself where nothing holds you back, then sometimes you have to reach out and you have to get some professional help. And it's absolutely okay. There's nothing wrong with it, because sometimes when somebody is looking in at your situation, from you looking out, you can't see everything that's going on. Like if you're in the living room, you don't see what's going on in your bedroom or upstairs or in the basement or in the back room or in the kitchen. You're not seeing what's going on in all of that. But if I'm standing on the street looking in, I can see you in your living room. I can see somebody cooking in the kitchen. I can see somebody reading on their bed in the bedroom. Like, I can see all of that, because sometimes it's easier for people to see in than it is for you to see out, okay? Or to know what's going on inside your own self. So it's quite okay and perfectly all right for you to seek help and get the help that you need. And I think after the whole pandemic and everything that happened, I think people are starting to realize now that they have flaws that they need to work on. They have events that they experience that are holding them back. They have events and things that happen, or traumas that have happened to them that they never got over. They just tried to sweep up under the rug. And those things tend to present themselves and manifest and come up in different ways. So it's better to learn what it is and actually face it and deal with it than it is to continue to run away from it and suffer the repercussions of that by it manifesting in other ways in your life, in ways that you don't want. Okay, so to be the best version of yourself, if you need help, get help. So I did leave some information and link below. It's a national line that I found. I've never dealt with them myself, but I wanted something nationally, because if you're watching it, I want to make sure that whatever city or state that you're watching this from, you have a resource to go to and connect to get you some help if you need some and don't know where to go. So it's called SAMHSA, so Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. Again, it is a national site. It is .gov. So they have a lot of information on here that you can read through and just explore. And then, like I said, there's also ways to find resources and stuff where you can find some help beyond this or through the site as well. So you can get to somebody who's local to you. So check that out if you need it, because again, by all means, if you need the help, get the help. All right. And if you know somebody who just doesn't seem like themselves and they seem a little off, or they seem always testy and, just not their normal pleasant self, or even if that is their normal pleasant self, chances are that they have some issues that they're working on and that they need some help with as well. So reach out to them, talk to them, be that shoulder that they can lean on as you try to coast them into getting some professional help if that's what they need. I'm not telling you guys this for you to self-diagnose yourself or diagnose somebody that you know. If you're not a professional, don't do that. Let somebody professional do all of that. But if you see a need in somebody that you love and care about, and you see that they do need somebody to talk to, then by all means try to encourage them, okay, to reach out and get some help, because it can do wonders for you just to have somebody that you can trust that doesn't know anybody in your life, okay? Because that's one of the things that people worry about is, okay, well, if I tell them this, then they're gonna tell my mom and dad, or if I tell them this, people gonna find out that this. It's your business. If you don't want nobody knowing, then don't let nobody know. It's your business. You don't have to tell it or announce it to the world that you're going through therapy or that you're seeing a therapist. That's your business. So don't be ashamed. Don't or don't try to not do it because of all of that. All right. Because that could be the one thing that actually helps you. And you find that it's a lot easier talking to a stranger that you don't know and that don't know nobody you know. Like, they don't know you, they don't know nobody you know, and it's easier to spill your guts to. Trust me, I know, because I'm the one in the grocery store that the people standing in front or behind want to tell their whole life story to. That's me. Okay? So trust me, it's a lot easier to talk to a stranger than it is to talk to somebody you know sometimes. So don't get offended if you have your child, your spouse, sister, brother, auntie, uncle, whoever, if they don't want to talk to you or don't want to open up, then suggest that they go talk to a therapist so that they can at least speak and talk to somebody that can help give them advice and help guide them through whatever situation that they have in. So again, please like, subscribe, and share, because if you get anything out of this content, chances are someone else will as well. And I love you, and I will talk to you tomorrow.